Namaste. I'm Dr. Robert. And today on 5-ish Minutes with Dr. Robert, my subject is auspiciousness. Auspiciousness is a word that is often employed in translations from Sanskrit because there are several Sanskrit words that are best translated into English as auspiciousness. And the word auspicious, interestingly enough, comes from a Latin word that has to do with observing and interpreting favorable omens in the context of birds and their movements. So it is very much an omenological sort of thing, and it's an indication that the time, which has to happen in the context of a particular space, that the time is becoming propitious for good things to occur. So this is a very similar kind of thing that is meant in the context of the various words that mean auspicious or auspiciousness in Sanskrit. Beginning with two words that are not particularly common for this purpose, but are included with the meaning of auspiciousness because they are synonyms for the most auspicious of the nakshatras or lunar constellations. That most auspicious nakshatra is Pusha, and the words Tishya and Siddhya both mean auspicious and are both synonyms for that nakshatra Pusha, which is the most auspicious of the nakshatras. But the four words that are most used to mean auspicious in Sanskrit are Shri, Shubha, Shiva, and Mangala. The implication of Shubha is that there is an effulgence, a radiance, and there is beauty. Shubha focuses particularly on beauty. Shri focuses particularly on radiance, on shining. So there's beauty, but it's radiance that is effulgent. It's moving in all directions. Shubha also has this implication, but Shri has that even more in a particular way. Mangala is interesting because it has an implication of welfare. There's a certain greater sense of activity with Mangala, probably appropriately, because Mangala is a synonym for the planet Mars. Now, Mars itself is not particularly known as being auspicious, and some people argue that the reason why Mars is called Mangala is because you have to do a lot of auspicious things to have the energy of Mangala be useful to you. But it's also the case that Mars can be auspicious, and Mars does so in a very active kind of way. Mars is a very active planet, always thinking about acting first and thinking later. So that Mangala, and as you possibly know, many of you, when a bride in India goes to her wedding, she almost always wears red, that color of Mars, that color of blood, in the sense of vitality and energy and prana and so on. So that's the kind of auspiciousness that Mangala represents, very active, the fecund kind of auspiciousness. And the word Shiva is very interesting. It also means auspicious, but according to the Sanskrit dictionary of Monier Williams, it comes from a root that means to lie down and rest. So in some ways, it's exactly the polar opposite of Mangala. Mangala means get out and be active and be actively auspicious. And Shiva is much more quietly, almost passively auspicious. It's an auspiciousness that is inherent in whatever it is we're describing as being Shiva. Shiva, Lord Shiva himself, sometimes is described as by Shiva, sometimes that word Shiva is translated as he in whom all things lie. Everything is being present there. And that sort of auspiciousness that is omnipresent, penetrates everything with that auspiciousness that ultimately is due to the thing that everything is due to, and that is the supreme consciousness that has no qualities, no limitations, no activity, nothing but simply radiant awareness and consciousness in all directions, the most auspicious thing of all. This is Dr. Robert wishing everyone great auspiciousness of every kind.